Hi everyone. Now I'm going to demonstrate the seam allowances with clean finishes or clean edges. Those kind of seam allowances we create when we need for certain garments where the insides of the garments are exposed so they look nice and clean without any overlock stitch or any other application. Let's assume these are my garment pieces and I'm going to create clean edge seam allowances. I will take the fabric facing up, the other fabric upside down, so my fabrics are face to face. And I'm going to pin 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. Let's say to start with, my seam allowance is going to be 3/4 of an inch. So I pin right at that line because my needle is going to pass through that line, through those points. So after I pin my swatch, I go to the sewing machine and I stitch right on that line. After stitching, I am going to press my seam to relax. And I am going to open my seam allowance and press it open like this. Actually, my intention is to fold the edge of the fabric like this and stitch on it so my seam allowance looks clean, like that, instead of like this. Therefore, I'm going to press each seam allowance separately, say about small 1/4 of an inch is folded inwards and pressed. So one side is folded, one side is not yet. So I'm going to fold the opposite side as well. Meanwhile, I am making sure that while I'm pressing, I'm folding the edge evenly, because from that will depend the success of my seam stitch. Okay, so pretty much it's like this. Now I'm going to stitch on the seam allowance, not on the background, but to itself, and then the other side. I'm going to be stitching at the very edge of the seam allowance. And as you notice, my fabrics are not involved or don't go under, but I'm simply stitching only the seam allowance on its own. As you can see, my seam allowances are already stitched and the raw edge of the fabric is hiding under, and my finished seam allowance is going to look like that inside of my garment. All I have to do now is press it one more time and the project is finished.